Hey there, it's Steve from Serious Keto, and this is the Not So Serious Keto video podcast. Settle in, grab your breakfast beverage of choice. Let's have our usual weekly chat. I have a confession to make. I am not very good at predicting which of my videos are going to do well and which are going to do poorly. I've been going back through some of my older videos and fixing up the thumbnails a little bit. And there's been a few that I've looked at and I'm like, wow, I can't believe this thing, has only had X number of views, some, relatively small amount compared to the rest of my videos. I think one that sticks out, and I haven't redone the thumbnail for, is the tomato paste hack. It was kind of a little spin on something that Alton Brown did for freezing tomato paste. I'll link to it right up here if you want to go watch that and pad my stats. But more often, it seems like I'm wrong about videos I think you won't like. For example, the pickled lettuce. I thought no one is going to like this video. To me, I liked it. I thought this is kind of a cool thing, but I really didn't expect any of you to like it, yet you did. I also was really concerned last week when I did the podcast that when I got into the men's health issues and the various levels of TMI, that was going to be a turnoff. But surprisingly, and thankfully, it was met with just a really positive reception, both from men and from women. And it kind of got me wondering, should I continue to talk about some of this stuff, especially for Movember? So I suppose the first thing I should talk about is the results of the MRI that I had done on my prostate. It came back negative, meaning no cancer. Nothing was found. So, yay. That's a good thing. Now, in terms of the actual MRI itself, it, wasn't bad. I mean, if you're claustrophobic, maybe, but I'm not. So they start, you gotta go into a locker room and strip down and take off, any jewelry, watches, all that stuff. And you get a gown and you get the world's largest pair of boxer shorts. These things are just ginormous. And some socks, and then you come back in and they lay you down on the gantry. I think the one thing I wasn't expecting, well, it was sort of two things. One thing led to two. I didn't know that I was going to get an IV for the contrast. They put in some sort of a contrast fluid into your blood so that then they can see certain things better when they do the MR. Yeah, I used to work for GE Healthcare, but I've largely forgotten all of this stuff. Anyhow, they're putting in the IV, and normally whenever I get any sort of an IV or a blood draw, I always get complimented on my veins. It's just every single time. They're like, oh my gosh, that's like the easiest stick I've ever done. And I didn't get that this time. Instead, I got a or I don't know if it was an oops or a that's not supposed to happen. I think it was that's not supposed to happen, which is right up there with oops whenever you're dealing with a medical person doing something. And I wasn't looking. That's one of my strategies in any sort of medical procedure is not to watch what's happening. Not real interested in seeing myself cut open, not real interested in seeing things inserted into my body. So I was not looking at what was going on. But then there was a whole lot of wiping that was going on my forearm. And the nurse said something like it didn't seal or something like that. So anyhow, I wasn't expecting the IV. But once I got the IV, the next thing I wasn't expecting was the taste. Like you actually taste and smell the saline or whatever it is that they put into me. I think, the taste was salty. The smell kind of was like alcohol swab. Anyhow, once the MR was done, so I'm going to fast forward a bit, I'll come back. But once the MR was done, I looked at my forearm and clearly I must have been, squirting a bunch of blood or something because even though they wiped up a bit, it was not the most professional job of wiping up my arm. But the CT itself took about an hour, and if you've never had one, they are loud. Well, if you've had one, they're also loud. But you're in there, and there's like 20 different varieties of loud that they have. All of them sound like some degree of an alarm, like the sort of thing that you would hear in a military industrial lab where someone drops a vial and then like all the doors close and air seal and then these alarms start going off. That's what it sounds like. And as soon as you start getting used to one of them, to the point that you can almost tune it out, they switch to something else. There was one that wasn't too bad. It sounded sort of like a synth bass along with a wood block, like a percussive wood block. And it was going at 4/4 time. So it almost sounded a little bit like the intro to a Nine Inch Nails song. But anyhow, it wasn't a bad procedure. I think I had a couple of little micro naps during the course of it. And of course, the good news is no cancer. So again, yay. Now I'm filming this video on Friday the 19th. So yesterday on the 18th, I went back to the urologist to have a cystoscopy. And I'm not actually going to talk about that right now, because what I want to find out from all of you is, are you interested in hearing about men's health medical processes? Because I don't want to go there if you don't want to hear it. And I'm kind of two minds on the subject. As I mentioned in the previous podcast, the urologist that I have really kind of undersells a lot of these things. Like he says, we're just going to go in and grab some stuff. You know, go in and grab some stuff means you're going into my body someplace, probably in my swimsuit area, where I don't generally want anybody going into my body. And then, yeah, the process itself and some of the, recovery aspects, he just never, he doesn't share that. And I think maybe it's because he's afraid that I'd get scared, or that any guy would get scared and not want to have the procedure done. In fact, my primary care physician says this is why they stopped doing DREs, or digital rectal exams, a handful of years ago, because guys quit coming in for their annual physical because they didn't want to get a finger in the butt. So I will tell you, though, after having a cystoscopy, a DRE is a walk in the park. I would gladly take one of those. I would take one of those daily. Well, no, that's an exaggeration. But I would gladly take a DRE over a cystoscopy. And unless you are really interested in being traumatized, I would highly advise you against Googling cystoscopy and then images. I'll leave it at that. And then I will let you tell me if this is something you're interested in having me talk a little bit more about before November is over. So talking about some of these specific men's health procedures that I've gone through, what I thought of them, and what I did to get better quick afterwards. So let me know down in the comments below. From time to time in these podcasts, I like to share a little bit of behind the scenes YouTube information, either just general YouTube or specific to my channel. And I'll share a couple of those things with you right now. First off, I don't know if you've read this or heard about this, but YouTube is going to be changing what they do with dislikes. Now, I'd mentioned in a previous podcast that dislikes don't really hurt the creator. It doesn't do anything in terms of affecting our video's performance, our monetization, whether or not it gets recommended to other people. But it does impact what you get recommended. So if you're watching a video and you click dislike, then that particular type of video or that particular content creator is less likely to be recommended to you. Now, what YouTube is doing is they're going to keep the like and dislike buttons, but they won't publicly display the dislikes. The content creator will still see it, but I guess I'm struggling with how this makes any sense. First off, I think the dislike button can be an important tool. It can also be an abused tool by some people when they want to review bomb somebody, or, like I said, every time I do a video, I'll see 8 to 12 dislikes within the first hour or two pretty consistently. And oftentimes a few of them like within the first minute of a video's release. But when I'm getting out, especially if it's a how-to video, like how to repair your cracked iPhone screen or something like that, and you open up a video and you see 40 likes and 300 dislikes, to me that's a pretty good indication that this is not going to be a helpful video. So I kind of think that the likes and dislikes system is pretty okay as it is. If they're doing it to protect the content creator, which is what they say, again, I don't know how protected we are necessarily, because outside of people trying to review bomb, you, me, whomever, I'm still seeing the dislikes, so you're not protecting my feelings or anything, but yeah, so that's coming. I guess what I would like to see is if there were some sort of a percentage indicator that could show up on a video, like 98% of people enjoyed this video or found it helpful or something like that. I think that would be kind of cool, but you know, YouTube's not really asking me for my ideas. And speaking of likes, one of the things that I mentioned last week, and it was really clear in my brain, and I thought that it was clear when I was saying it, but apparently it wasn't. First off, I wasn't begging for likes. I was accused of that. But what I was saying is I just thought it was interesting on the giveaway videos where leaving a comment got you entered to, into the drawing. I saw twice as many comments as I did likes. And to me, I was just pointing out that disparity. Since then, of course, all of you have been giving me a lot of likes, which I like, but that wasn't what I was pushing towards. But that doesn't mean stop. You can still keep hitting that like button. I'm totally cool with that. I have been learning a lot more about analytics and some of the reports that can be run in YouTube, and here is a really interesting little factoid. Every time I do a video for Perfect Keto, reviewing their products or telling you about a sale or something like that, I lose 18 to 20 subscribers. Every single one. Crazy. Don't know why, but I'm still going to keep doing Perfect Keto videos. Obviously, I did one, if you're watching this on Tuesday when it releases, I did one yesterday for the Black Friday sale. So I'm not going to stop, but it's something sort of interesting, little data point. And with that, we are going to take a brief little ad break. One of the segments that I introduced last week and would like to continue to do, likely with your help, is sort of the egregious keto labeling or egregious nutritional facts of the week. And I had one sent to me from Sandra. I'm going to have to put on my glasses to look at it. I'll slide over this way and put it up on the screen right here. But this is for some teriyaki seasoning blend. 0 calories, 0 fat, 0 carbs, 0 protein. I'd mentioned in my nutritional labeling video, which again, I'll link to up there, that if you get below a certain threshold, with the FDA, you don't have to report any grams of anything. So if it's a half a gram or less, it counts as 0. I also believe that if it's 5 calories or less, it counts as a 0. So as a result, companies can kind of play around with their serving size to make sure that you're getting zeros across the board. And in the case of this, the serving size is 1/4 of a teaspoon. To me, it feels like if I'm using this as a rub on top of a chicken breast or something, 1/4 of a teaspoon, probably not going to get me there. Probably about a teaspoon, I'm guessing, if not more. So I think it's safe to assume any one of these numbers where it says 0 grams, it's probably half a gram. So 2 grams, if you're doing a realistic serving size of a teaspoon. And it could be as many as 20 calories. But let's take a look at the ingredients for something that has 0 calories and 0 grams of carbs. The first ingredient is brown sugar. Then we've got soy sauce, salt, sugar, garlic, caramel color, ginger, silicone dioxide to make more free-flowing, mustard flour, sunflower oil, hydrolyzed corn and soy protein, sesame oil, red pepper, and natural flavors. This is almost a laundry list of things that would set off the ingredients police. But this was submitted by Sandra. Thank you, Sandra. And as I said last week, if any of you come across a label that you think would be worth highlighting on this show here, you can either contact me via direct message on Instagram or Facebook. A question I got from a viewer last week, and I think it's very appropriate given the time of year, is how to deal with cravings, especially around the holidays. So here are my thoughts on this. As we hit the holidays, we're going to find ourselves in a lot of situations where there's going to be non-keto food. And probably a lot of it, at least what's served in terms of food, is going to be out of our control. So what can we do? I think there are a few strategies. The first is you decide, what the heck, it's the holidays, I'll break keto. I would say don't break keto for Thanksgiving through Christmas. I would say you pick strategically a meal, an important family gathering or something like that. And you say, all right, I don't want to hurt grandma's feelings. I'm going to eat the sweet potato topped with brown sugar and and pecans and all of that stuff, and all of the mashed potatoes and the stuffing or the dressing. That's one option. You'll probably go out of ketosis. And depending on how you react when your body goes out of keto, you may wind up feeling like crap. I find if I did something like that, I would probably feel kind of crummy for the next couple of days. I know that things like the potatoes, and probably if I'm eating dinner rolls and things like that, I'm going to get inflammation. I'm going to feel it in my knuckles. I'm going to feel it in my knees. So for me, I'm probably not going to go that route. I'm probably not going to choose to break keto. So the next option is potentially bringing a dish yourself. So you volunteer to bring a dish to a given party or Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas dinner with the relatives. That gives you a little bit more control. So if you think about, what's potentially the most dangerous option for you in a non-keto dinner, it's probably like the potatoes or stuffing or rolls. So can you make your own and bring them? Talk to whoever is the host of this particular gathering or dinner and maybe get their permission first. Say, hey, I've got some dietary restrictions. Would you be offended if I brought some mashed cauliflower instead of eating the mashed potatoes? My strategy whenever we would have Christmas by my wife's aunt and uncle is I would just load up my plate with keto stuff. So just, you stack it so full, it looks like you're eating a bunch of, everything, but you're really not. So things that I could always count on at that particular Christmas were like shrimp cocktail, various cheeses and meats, sliced meats, taco dip, and then I would just dunk my cheese slice into the taco dip. Lots of times, if I'd hit the appetizers hard enough and people would see that I was hitting appetizers hard enough, when dinner rolled around and people are saying, hey, have some potatoes, have some stuffing, I could be, oh man, I think I went after those appetizers a little hard. I don't have a whole lot of room. I'll have some turkey though. Now, if you're the sort of person that has some sort of a loved one in the family that likes baking and making cookies and all kinds of holiday treats, my mother-in-law does this. We wind up having just, 4 trays of various Christmas cookies just out, tempting. Preemptively, what I do is I make sure that I've got plenty of keto treats. Whether it's prepackaged stuff, I find like the chipmunk cookie bites. I have one of those, I'm satisfied. This is not a paid promo, by the way. Or I'll just make my own fat bombs or something. Or I'll make sure that I've got some nuts handy to eat or sliced cheese or something like that I can munch on. So that when I see that tray of cookies, I know that I've got another alternative. So these are my strategies during the holidays. If you have one that you find works like a charm, please let me know down in the comments below. So to close out this podcast, I want to talk about this upcoming Friday's video. I'll be doing another giveaway, and I think it's going to be pretty cool. But what I want to do first is assuage any concerns people might have that I've quit doing cooking videos, because I know over the last month, I think, I had the pickled lettuce, but then I had a giveaway or two, and I think I had the kitchen science video last week. I am going to be back doing cooking videos very, very soon, probably after this Friday. I have a few pretty neat things in the hopper as well. I'm getting very close to some things. I have shared this with my paid channel members. They've seen what I've done. In fact, it was on my kitchen live stream last week where I started doing some experiments with it. But just plenty of cool things coming. I think the other thing, also on Friday when I do the giveaway, I'm going to do sort of a summary of all of the Black Friday deals that I'm aware of that are going on out in the keto world and provide you links, let you know what the discounts are going to be, if any. What else? The last final thing that I would say is have a great Thanksgiving. I'm going to link at the end of this video to my Thanksgiving playlist. Hopefully you can find some stuff in there that you're interested in and that will make Thanksgiving a nice keto treat for you and your loved ones. So that's it. Thanks for watching.